Hi everyone, welcome to this video on ratio and proportion. In this video, we're going to study the concepts on ratio, how to convert ratios to fractions, fractions to ratios, and if ratios are given in fractions, how to convert them into whole numbers and so on, and then some examples too. So let's start with the very basic stuff. Let's understand the difference between a ratio and a fraction over here. Now, a vessel contains 18 liters milk and 64 liters water. What is the ratio of milk to water? That becomes very easy. Milk was 18, water was 64. So ratio becomes 18 is to 64. I can reduce this to 9 is to 32. So the ratio is 9 is to 32 between milk and water. But the second part of the question where we say what is the fraction of milk, means how much part of the whole solution or whole mixture is milk. That becomes very important. I can take 9 and 32, or I can take 18 and 64. Let's assume you're starting with 18 and 64. That means it will be 18 upon 18 plus 64, right? How much will that become? 18 upon 82. You can reduce it, 2 nines are, 2 41s are. So I will say milk is 9 by 41 parts of the total is milk, or if I want to find the fraction of water over here, which will also be fine, same way, it will be 32. 41 minus 9 will be 32 by 41 of the total. So whenever a total is given, I will be using these two, and fraction wise I'll be using these, or the ratio wise I'll be using that. Now, let's understand something else. Now, the next one, we talk about some properties. If I have been given that a by 7 or a by 8 is equal to b by 6 is equal to c by 7, how do I find the ratio? Let's see different approaches. One we can say is let this whole thing be equal to k. A by 8 is equal to b by 6 is equal to c by 7 is equal to k. Now, if I take each of them individually, I'm going to get A is equal to 8k, B is equal to 6k, and C is equal to 7k. And now if I want to find ratio of A is to B is to C, it will become 8 is to 6 is to 7. Now, this is one approach where I took something equal to k, because when I take the ratio, k cuts out. Now, so instead of taking k, could I have taken something easier? Finally, here, if on the right hand side instead of k, if I had just taken 1, so if I had taken a upon 8 is equal to b upon 6 is equal to c upon 7, directly equal to 1, I would have directly got a as 8, b as 6, and c as 7, and I would have got a ratio b ratio c as 8 is to 6 is to 7, right? So how to convert when something is given in the form of an equal to sign into a ratio? Now, we can have one more type in that. Now, over here, there is already a ratio given. Look at this very carefully. Now, a lot of people make a mistake over here. This is already in a ratio. That is why I've asked what is A ratio, B ratio, C also equal to. Basically, if the question was given to me, suppose if I have some rupees and I want to divide between three friends, A is to B is to C, in the ratio 1 is to 8, 1 is to 6, and 1 is to 7. Doing that calculation with fractional ratios is a slightly difficult task. Hence, converting them to whole numbers becomes very important. So over here, basically, we are doing nothing but multiplying all three ratios by the same number. That number is nothing but the LCM of 8, 6, and 7. Now, how do you do LCM of 8, 6, 7? A little bit orally. First, find for 8 and 6. We know that 8 and 6 have a 2 common in it. That means it will become 48 divided by 2, 24. Now, the remaining part, 24 and 7 are co-prime. That means they don't have any common factor. So I can directly say the LCM of 8, 6, and 7 is 24 into 7. A lot of you all know 24 into 7 orally is 168. Great. No need to use it. So see, what I would do is 1 upon 8 into 24 into 7. So this will become 8 ones are 8 threes are 3 sevens are 21. That will become ratio for A. B will be 1 upon 6 into 24 into 7. So that will be 6 fours are 7 fours are 28. And for C, it will become 1 upon 7 into 24 into 7. 7 cuts out. So 24 is left off. So our ratios will be 21 is to 28 is to 24. Now, whatever that question was, where I had to divide some money in the ratio of 3 parts, becomes easier with these numbers. So basically in this part, we have just learned how to convert a fractional ratio to a whole number ratio. So multiplying by the LCM. Next one is different. Again, there's an equal to sign. 8a is equal to 6b is equal to 7c. From what I taught you before, what if you take k? What will happen? You will get 8a is equal to k, a is equal to k upon 8. I should picturize this orally. If I take k, I'm going to kind of reach back to this step and I'll have to do one more time this whole thing before I get the answer. So in this case, it is easier, instead of the right hand side being 1 or k, take the right hand side as the LCM of the three numbers. So I'll come to this part later. I'll take 8a. We just did the LCM is 24 into 7. So 8a is 24 into 7. 8 ones are 8 threes are. So a is 21. Similarly, b will be equal to 6b is equal to 24 into 7. So 6 ones are 6 fours are. Therefore, b will be 28. And we have 7c is equal to 24 into 7. 7 cuts out. And we've got c is equal to 27. So the ratio becomes 21 is to 28 is to 27. Both of these, in fact, all three rules are very important. A lot of people think, okay, yes, we understand this. But finally, when you have to look at a question and able to do it very quickly, because this will be like the first step of your question. This will never be your actual question. This will be like the first step of your question. Will you be able to do this very quickly is what you have to ask yourself. Let's have a look at the next thing. In the next part we've been given a ratio between A and B and one more ratio between B and C. And we've been asked a ratio for A ratio, B ratio, C. Again, a couple of approaches I'm going to discuss over here. So over here, first of all, I need to make B same. Over here, B is 3 and over here, B is 5. So obviously, the LCM of 3 and 5 is 15. So I need to make B 15 in both of them. Now, in the first one, if I want to make B 15, right? In this one, if I want to make B 15, that means I've multiplied by 5. That means over here also I'll have to multiply by 5. Great. Same way over here, I want to make B 15. So what will C become? If I'm making B 15, I multiplied by 3. That means I have to multiply C also by 3. So this will become 9. And therefore, we'll get A ratio B ratio C is 10 is to 15 is to 9. And that is the ratio we'll get for A ratio B ratio C. This is one approach of doing it. One more approach, which I remember so categorically from my school days. This was taught to me in school. A ratio B, I just write it as 2 is to 3. And B ratio C, which was given as 5 is to 3, I write it like this. And then a simple rule I followed. This multiply by this, multiply this, multiply by this, and this multiply by this. So basically 2 multiplied by 5 will give you 10. 3 multiplied by 5 will give you 15. And 3 threes I will give you 9. That's an oral way of doing it. And if you can just remember this always, this will work every single time. Yes, the only thing which might happen, sometimes you might have to reduce it further, but that's okay. The ratio will still be correct. And this is how you find a ratio between three things when two separate ratios were given. You always keep the common one in between. That's very important. So if A ratio B and C ratio A is given, you'll have to keep A in between them that way. Let's look at some examples. And with examples, we will also understand the basic methods of doing ratio questions. The present age of Arjun and Meera is in the ratio 5 is to 3. So let's go back to our school day approach. Present ages of Arjun and Meera 5 ratio 3. That means Arjun should be taken as 5x or 5k and Meera should be taken as 3k. After 4 years, the ratio becomes 3 is to 2. So after 4 years, that means both of them will increase by 4. That means Arjun will become 5k plus 4, Meera will become 3k plus 4. And this ratio becomes 3 is to 2. Cross multiply, solve it out. Let's see what we get. We will get 10k plus 8 is equal to 9k plus 12. Bring k on one side, so this will become only k is equal to 4. We've got k is equal to 4. We want to find the difference in their age after 10 more years. Let's find their present ages. We'll come to the later part, the remaining part later. So A will become 20. That is, Arjun will become 20. 5 fours are 20. And Meera will become 12. That means presently the difference in their ages is 8 years. Now think a little bit logically. How many years after that they've asked? There's no need to do any calculation, right? Because finally, if both are going to keep increasing, the difference in their age will keep remaining same only, no? So whether after 10 more years or after 100 more years or whatever they ask, the difference in their age will always remain 8 years. So answer to this question will be 8 years. Okay, I hope the last part is clear. And this is the standard approach in which you do such questions. Let's go ahead. Divide 279 into 3 parts in this ratio. This is what I'd explained earlier to you also, that when you want to convert a fractional ratio to a whole number, you need to multiply by the LCM. 2, 3, 5 are all co-prime numbers. That means their LCM will be 2 into 3 into 5, which is the easy calculation, which is 30. So we just have to multiply everything by 30. So half multiplied by 30 will become 15. 1/3 multiplied by 30 will become 10. And this will become 6. So basically divide 279 into 3 parts. How can you do? Two approaches. You could take the first part as 15k, 10k and 6k. One method, 15k plus 10k plus 6k is equal to 279. That becomes 25. 25 plus 6 is 31k. 31k is 279. So I think k should be 9 if I divide this. Once I got k as 9, the first number will become 15 nines, which will become 135. Second number will be 10 nines, which will be 90. And third number will be 6 nines, which will be 54. That's method number 1. The other way of doing this is, if after finding the ratios, that means after making the ratios into whole numbers 15, 10 and 6. The second method I could do is, the first part will be 15 upon this total. 15 upon 31 into 279, because the first part is 15 out of a total of 31. So that will be 31 nines and 15 nines will be 135. The second part same way will be 10 upon 31 into 279. Same thing over here. So we get a 90. And third part will be 6 upon 31 into 279. That will become 54. Right? So either of the ways you can do it. No point doing it with fractions. You can do it with fractions also, but that will be unnecessary waste of time. Let's go to the next question. In a bag, the ratio of pens to pencil is 8:1. And pencils to eraser is 9:2. Okay, so without even reading further, pens, pencils and erasers. What have they told us? Ratio of pens to pencil is 8:1 and pencils to eraser is 9:2. Remember the method I taught you earlier, 9 8s are 72, 9 1s are 9 and 2 1s are 2. So this becomes the ratio of pens, pencils and erasers. What have they told you further? If the number of pens exceed the number of erasers by 70. So if I took the pens exceed. Okay, so the difference between pens and erasers they're told is 70, which means these become the real number. You know, this is how you understand ratios. 72 and 2, the difference according to in ratios only 70, and real also they've said difference between pen and eraser is 70. So that I can take directly, these are the real numbers. Find the total number of pens, pencils and erasers in the bag. So that will become 72 plus 9 is 81, 81 plus 2, 83. Understand very, very importantly, why did these become the real numbers? So for example, if this difference was given as 140, then what I would have done is I would have said, according to me, the difference is 70. but really the difference is given as 140. So I would have just doubled everything. This would become 144, this would become 18, and this would become 4. And I would have got 140 as a difference. And then I would have added, which would have given me the answer exactly double of this. But because that was given 70 directly, these became the exact real numbers. Let's have a look at the next question. An amount of 666 is to be divided between A, B, C such that 4/5 of A's share is 3/2 of B's share and 1/4 of B's share is 1/7 of C share. That means two equations are given, two equalities are given. We need to find how much does B get. So what I would do is I would first find ratio over here. I would keep A over here, bring B down. 3/2 remains here, 5 goes on top, 4 comes down. So A ratio B or A upon B becomes 15/8. Leave that over here. Same thing I would do over here. B upon 7 becomes 4/7. Right? 4 goes on top, 7 remains as it is. So now what? Now I need to make B common. Now instead of writing that A, B, C, I'm just using a different approach. Over here B is 8 while here B is 4. So to make all three equal, I need to make B 8 over here also. That means multiply this by 2 upon 2. So this will become 8 upon 14. So A ratio B ratio C becomes 15:8:14. Right? 15 plus 8 is 15 plus 14 is 29. 29 plus 8 is 37. They want us to find how much does B get. So B gets how much? 8 upon 37 of 666. Let's look at the calculation logic. There's some multiplications, which I remember well. So 37 threes is 111 is a number which I always remember. So if 37, this 666 can be written as 111 into 6. So 37 threes is 111. So this becomes 8 into 3 into 6. 8 6 is 48. 48 3 is should be I think 144. Let's just check that. 18 8 144. So 144 is the value which or number of rupees which B will get. Straightforward approach. A and B ka ratio we found. So this was given from where I wanted to find A and B ka ratio, and then I found found B and C ka ratio, found all three ratios together, found the value of B. There can be one more approach. Just pay attention. If somebody wants to do it more like an algebra question, it was told to us that to total money A plus B plus C is 666. Now, in the first case, we know 4/5 of A is 3/2 of B. So can I write B A is equal to 3/2 into 5/4 B. So A is 15/8 B. So instead of A, I'll write 15/8 B. B will remain B only. And in the second case, it was given 1/4 of B is 1/7 of C. So 7 upon 4 B is equal to C. So instead of C, I'll write 7 upon 4 B is equal to 666. This is more like an algebra question. This becomes 8 is my LCM. So this will become 15B plus 8B plus 14B is equal to 666. That should become again 37B is 666 into 8. And B will, same calculation is there. So I'm not showing the calculation. B is 144. Whether do you do it in this way or that way, I prefer the earlier approach. Anyway, also because you're learning the chapter on ratios, I prefer that approach. This is more of an algebra approach. Let's have a look at the next question. So some apples are divided among 4 friends such that apples given to A and B are in the ratio of 3:4. That means A ratio B is 3:4. C share is 4 times of A's share. C is 4 times A, and D share is 3 times B share. D is 3 times B. How many more apples than C does D receive? So we want to know D minus C. Let's pay attention. So let's first find C ratio D. C ratio D will be 4A upon 3B. which I can write as 4 upon 3 multiplied by A upon B. And A upon B is given as 3:4. So this will become 4 upon 3 into 3:4. 4, 4 cut, 3, 3 cut. So we've got 1:1. So C is to D is 1:1, which will also mean C is equal to D. And when I say C is equal to D, the number of apples which D or C will receive more than each other will be 0. That means they have to receive the same number of apples. So even though the total number of apples were not given, we could still find the difference between D and C because the answer was going to be 0. So with that, we come to the end of this video. I hope you all go through this video really well, understand the topic of ratios. We'll be adding more videos in this series on proportion and variation, direct variation, indirect variation. Thank you for watching.